22 today, but life for Ben O'Toole could have ended on Thursday night.
So I'd gone back home to my hometown of Geelong for my birthday and had dinner with the family, and then went out with my mates, and at about midnight I got bumped in a bar, and the guy that bumped me was going around bumping people looking for fights, and I wasn't particularly interested, and me and my mate ended up leaving. He found me on the street a couple of hours later, and a conversation occurred, and his friend was the one that came and assaulted me. Hit me once, and it threw my body down to the ground, and the side of my skull hit the concrete. I was unconscious pretty quickly and taken to hospital, and after a couple of hours they ran some scans on my brain and realised the severity, and I was hemorrhaging and in a pretty bad way. I woke up in hospital and kind of thought that I'd fallen asleep somewhere that I don't usually go to sleep. Not long after that, I remember family coming in and seeing me, and mum looking pretty upset, and my brother's trying to be the positive sort of part of the group and try and keep everybody's morale up. And I was able to leave, thankfully, in a pretty short amount of time, and went back to my parents' house back in Geelong, which was a bit of a reality shock after living out of home for 4 years and having a full-time job and being completely independent, to needing to go back to feeling like a school kid again, and mum making dinner and breakfast and lunch for me every day. And as I was trying to gain my strength back, and pretty much every morning for about 4 weeks was a 5 a.m. headache as a way to start the day, which was a nice way to remind myself what my brain was going through and what it needed to do to repair itself. So I saw my doctor 6 weeks after the operation for a pretty standard standard procedure to go 6 weeks post-op, and the doctor was pretty blunt in telling me that that the fact I was walking and I could talk and we could have a conversation and all of these basic things that I thought were just part and parcel of my operation. He sort of told me pretty bluntly that he didn't think I'd be able to do any of those things. Yeah, it had a massive effect on how I viewed the world in a big way. It made me realise how lucky I am to have what I've got, and how lucky I am literally to be alive, which maybe some people don't have the experience that they can say it like that. And it took a while to kind of feel comfortable going out again. I was certainly a lot tenser and looking over my shoulder a lot more, and I think the biggest realisation I had was that you just don't know what everyone's thinking and what anyone really wants to get out of a night, what their prerogative is. So not very long after I got out of hospital, I felt pretty motivated pretty quickly to talk about what happened to me. I felt pretty lucky that I was recovering and that I was lucky enough to recover in the way that I had. So I called my old high school in Geelong and went and spoke to a couple of Year 10 classes, and I was able to go back to my high school a couple of times over the following years and do similar presentations. But I was sort of looking on and off for an avenue to do this more regularly, and stumbled upon Step Back Think, and I was able to start volunteering for them and running a few presentations. So the last 2.5 years I've been going around to schools and sports clubs and telling my story and other stories of victims of assault, and doing my best to try and make people think differently about it. I do see the culture of social violence changing, but in saying that, it's going to take a really long time, because it is a cultural change that we're looking for. If it was a really simple transition from throwing punches to not, I think it would have happened a long time ago. So to create a cultural change is going to take a really long time, but we're completely aware of that, and we accepted it a long time ago. So we very much are in it for the long haul, and willing to kind of keep working until we can see some real change.